checking in right now. I am just sitting with a little sleepiness, and I know these times are really challenging. That I thought, if I'm feeling tired, if I'm feeling exhausted, I know I'm not the only one. Because when I feel things, I tap into what the collective pulse is. What is going on in the world around me? I know that as an empath, as a human, as an emotional being, I incarnated into this life, and I'm very sensitive. So I pick up on and I lean into, with curiosity, what is this that's going on within me that is also going on around me? The key about life that I've found throughout all the years that I've been on this earth, at least in this life and what I tap into in others, is there's the whole belief that we have to achieve, that we have to prove ourselves worthy, we have to prove ourselves, that unless you're struggling, unless you're striving, then you're not doing something right. And that in itself is exhausting. Just trying to keep up with all the things you've been told all your life that you should be doing. And then you go on and you repeat the shoulding on yourself. It's a mental, emotional, and physical drain on your mind, body, and soul. We incarnated into this life. We all came here for a purpose. We all have a role. Every single one of us is equally as important as another. Nobody is more important. Nobody is less important. But the truth of the matter is that we've all gotten caught up in the beliefs and the rhetoric and the narrative of how we should be doing things, as opposed to tapping into how do you feel? Do you lean in with curiosity? Are you tapping into your wisdom? Do you recognize when your soul, your heart, it speaks? Do you know your language? The signs, the things that show up to you in your life, they're meant for you and you alone. Only you know. Even simple things like I see the repetitive numbers may seem so absurd to some people because, oh, here we go with the spiritual, the yada, yada, yada. What it is it's something to get your attention. So when you see a sign, when you see something and it speaks to you, it causes you to pause. You are giving yourself permission to take a moment and to recognize something that is present. It makes you present. So a sign that takes you out of whatever busyness, whatever distractions the life is creating for you, is a gift, is a blessing. Because the more present you are in the moment, in the now, leaning into, ooh, there's a sensation. Ooh, there's an emotion. Oh, that thought that dropped in. With curiosity, what is that trying to speak to you? There's so many different ways you can handle it. In these times when people are freaking out because everything's uncertain, nobody knows what's going to happen. But do you realize the one thing that's certain is uncertainty? That you can think you know the answers, you can think you can predict, but you're only using what you've only known. That your past does not determine your future. That if you could recognize that every moment is unique, instead of holding on and gripping so tightly to the past experiences that you've had that are holding you hostage to the past. It's real easy to turn around and say, well, it's always been that way. Well, in my last experience, when I felt that, this happened. If you continue to hold yourself hostage to the beliefs that that's the way it's going to be, then that's the way it will be. Because you are the master manifester of your world. But you're even more masterful if you can control what you allow your mind to attach to. So when you do see something, and it causes you to pause and to reflect. See how willing you are to lean into it instead of reject, because sometimes it's a trigger. Sometimes a trigger will take you and catch you off your guard. It will kick you in the ass just enough to wake you up and shake you up, because you need the chaos to grow. Without the craziness, there's no way you're ever going to evolve. We grow the most when we're under pressure. We shine even brighter, just like the diamond comes out of the coal. Without some form of pressure upon us, how will we ever be challenged enough to come out of our shell, to blossom into that being we came here to be? These are questions that everyone, you and me, needs to constantly tap into and ask, what is this showing me? What is this trying to get my attention to? It took me out of that moment to be present in this moment. And more often, we're either caught up in the past or anxious about the future. And there's a lot of anxiety bubbling up right now, isn't there? Whatever it is for you, let me know in the comments. I want to hear from you. What is it that you, allowing yourself to be okay with this crap, Carly? I see you and I hear you. There's a lot of shit coming to the surface. And I was having beautiful conversations today with some girlfriends about how it's so easy to have a million things coming at you and want to do it all. But there's only one thing you need to be doing, and you need to be willing to recognize and lean in the direction that feels the most authentic, that will challenge you to some degree, but not to the degree that you are distracting yourself. Even a distraction can serve you, but know yourself, know thyself. This is the key. I'm tongue-tied all of a sudden. Only you know you, and only you can do you, boo. So no matter what's coming up for you, just recognize this one little key thing. When you're in anxiety, when you're in frustration, when you feel the most emotional, charging, triggers, that means something is coming up for you to shift. It's there to shake you up, to break it up. Just like all the crystallization, when your body has pain, right? You need a serious, some of us need to be massaged. You need to break it up. Well, guess what? When your life presents shit to you or things that you don't want to confront, it needs to be massaged. In order for it to move, you have to be willing to go through it and groove. Okay? You need to be willing to recognize it's a presentation. How will you handle this? The universe has always given us a reminder of what it is we've been through by representing it to you in another way, shape, or form. It will come right back up to test the waters, to test you. Did you learn the lesson? Are you going to continually allow yourself to be dragged into your past behaviors? Are you still holding on to dogmatic beliefs that are no longer serving you? Are you going to react in the same way to the same situations and continue to try to do the same things you've always been doing and continue to also believe that something different will end up happening as a result? Because when you continue to do the same things over and over again, you're going to continue to get the same things over and over again, right? The definition of crazy is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Hello. Are you willing to try something different? Are you willing to reclaim your power, to step back into your soul, your path, and to go with the flow and allow the energy to support you, to ride the magic carpet of your life? Because truly, most of us are resisting what it is we want because it's unfamiliar. We say we want something, but it's so unfamiliar. We've never experienced it. So therefore, we don't know how to have it. The conversation around chemistry came up today. So, interesting thing, I entered the dating world again, right? So I have allowed myself to be seen. I recognize from my past that in the past when I have seen the sparks fly, we had this beautiful chemistry. It was like this person knew me, all these beautiful things. Oh my goodness. When you notice chemistry, you might want to take a step back and ask, what does this remind you of? What is the spark and familiarity that it is triggering? Doesn't mean it's good and it doesn't mean it's bad. But I have found in my life, the chemistry typically signals, been here, done that, be very cautious and aware that this could be a lesson in the making. Or a recapitulating of my past experiences that weren't necessarily the best for me. But if I pick up on the warning signs and I proceed with caution, you don't have to be like red flag, throw the hands up, but be more present. Know thyself first. Don't assume that just because you have chemistry with somebody that it is the perfect match. It's an energetic match is what it is. People will show up to you and match your energy. And essentially in relationship, because how we relate to ourselves is how we will relate to another. People will show up to test to see what is your relationship to yourself. If you are honoring yourself, you are treating yourself like the king or the queen that you are, you will find your perfect match. They will show you and present to you what it is you are already doing for you. Nobody else can do that unless you're giving yourself permission to receive it, and you have to be the first person doing it for you. So chemistry, be very attentive to this. It's beautiful when the sparks fly. How many of you go through the honeymoon stage, 3-4 months into a relationship, and it's so wonderful. Guess what? Every relationship is going to throw some challenges up at some point. It's how you're going to react or respond, how you're going to handle them, and tune in and tap into whether or not you have learned lessons in the past that you can apply to improve. Key is that communication, because us humans, we're always learning to be better communicators. We're here to refine ourselves so that we can shine, so we can be better humans to one another. So communication, work on that. Be willing to be vulnerable. We're not saying you got to go out and scream out to the world your entire life story, and you're not necessarily needing to rehash your traumatic experiences with people. Listen, people, I don't know about you. I'm looking to move forward in my life. The trauma doesn't define me from my past. I know what I've been through. They were experiences that don't define me. They make me aware of things that they were strengths and there were weaknesses. This is where I'm at in my life. But you have to be willing to confront whatever's happened in your past and take ownership and power over the responsible person that you are now. You are able to take control of your life now. Whatever happened in the past, you may not have had control over, especially when you're a child. But when you become an adult, now it's your time to shine as an adult. There's no excuses for being stuck in the past other than a mental fixation and belief that it still holds power over you. If you want to work through that, reach out to me. We can work together. I'm not here to condone, condemn, or talk down anything that's happened in the past. But we have to be willing to heal so that we can be present in the moment, so we can live fully, richly, with all of our senses and our ability. We are able-bodied. Because I don't know about anybody else, but I am not here to suffer. And I certainly don't feel like you should have to suffer for your greatness, because you are all great. There's a synergy when you open yourself up to the beauty of life and allow yourself to live it. But you have to be willing to step in and own it. We have to claim our power. We have to be willing to be seen, heard. We also have to be willing to see and hear, to listen, to tap in from the heart level, dropping out of the head into the heart. What is it you want to experience in this life? Because you deserve it, and you don't have to validate yourself, and you don't have to explain yourself. But it's very important that you know thyself. Because if you don't know yourself, then you don't know what motivates you. You don't know what it is that is your agenda. Why do you do what you do? The intentions and the inspiration behind what you do is very important. When we say we do things for other people, is it because you're doing them for the other person with the expectation of something in return that is uncommunicated? Or are you doing it out of the kindness of your heart with no expectation, just the sheer pleasure and joy of knowing you're able to do, and that you're doing it so freely of yourself? There's beauty in the pain, and there's pain in the beauty, like pain and pleasure and pain. It's a shift in perception, though. We've all experienced it to the degree that it's the pendulum you're swinging upon. So, okay, I went all the way over to the pleasure-seeking zone. I went all the way to the pain-seeking zone. Because that's what life is, polarity. And then when you come to your gravitation of the centering, when you can ground, 0 point, just be, you won't notice either one. Because that's a leveling out. That's a balance. Yeah. Whew. So there's a lot of exhaustion. And this is the time when you need to be exercising the most attention to you. You don't have to explain yourself to anybody. If you have to cancel your plans, you don't need to choose in this moment. I feel there's a sense of urgency in the air. I feel that over this past week, at least since Sunday night of last weekend, not yesterday, but the previous week, I've witnessed it. I've taken my own personal break from social media because I know from myself, I needed it. And I expect that for each and every one of you. You don't need permission from me or anybody else. You need to give yourself permission. You need to be willing to step into the power of knowing what you need and honoring that. Don't shoot on yourself about what you think you need to be doing or what you need to be accomplishing. Life is going to still continue to flow and move and evolve with or without you. So we don't have to play the martyr. But we do need to recognize what it is that motivates us. What's important to you? What makes you feel most alive? What can you do to re-energize, to fill your cup, to fill your battery? Maybe you need a little bit more extra sleep. Maybe you need a nap in the day. Maybe you need to be drinking more water. Breathing. You all know how I feel about breath work. Breathing into your body. Let's do that. So while I'm sitting here and you are tuning in right now, I want you to come to center. Find yourself nice and comfortable. We're not doing anything that's strenuous or difficult. We're just going to center and ground and just breathe together. Because right now, if there's anything that you can do to become more present with yourself, it's to breathe. Because breath is life. There's nothing you can do without it. And if you're not sustaining yourself with proper nutrients, the one thing you can do is you can tune into the breath and ground energetically into the earth. Stack each vertebrae neatly one over the other like someone is pulling a string from the top of your head, the crown. Tuck the chin just slightly back so that your ears are over your shoulders. Roll the shoulders up and back, opening up the heart space. Notice your body. Start tapping into feeling Hands in your lap. Close your eyes down. Scan your body as you breathe. Breathe long, slow, and deep. Feel as the breath enters your nostrils, goes down the back of your throat, feeling it expanding, going all the way deep down into the pelvic floor. Feel the ribs expanding. The chest is lifting. On the exhale, the chest lowers, the ribs contract and come in, and the belly pulls in and up at the navel point. Tune into your body and all the sensations. Notice the sounds in the room that you're in. Feel the air on your skin. Soften your face. Soften your forehead and your eyebrows. Soften your skull and the skin around it. Soften your ears and your jaw. Maybe open your mouth. Move your jaw around. On every exhale, feel your shoulders relaxing even further away from your ears. Feel your shoulder blades gliding down your back. Soften your chest. Soften even around the armpits, the breast, the chest, the lower back, around the ribs. Feel your biceps and triceps, elbows, forearms, your wrists and your hands and your fingers. Feel them. Feel into every part of your body. Feel the cells, and continuing while you breathe. Long, slow, and deep. We're not in a rush here. This is your opportunity to become present and just breathe. Feel your lower back. Feel around the kidneys and soften. Feel your sacral area around your hips, into your pelvis, around your buttocks, and your thighs, your hamstrings, your inner thighs all to your knees. Feel your calves and your shins, your ankles, your feet, and wiggle your toes. Now breathe in, long, slow, and deep, and while you breathe in, feel the expansion of your energy field outside of your body. And your exhale, feel the contraction as your body comes in, but you elongate through the crown of the head. On every inhale, feel you expand. Feel your body expanding out like the room, filling the room. Fill the room with your energy. And then drawing in on that energy and feeling yourself getting longer and leaner, taller through the crown of your head. Inhale, expand, pulsing out even further. Where can you expand? Where do you feel your energy go? Inhaling, expanding beyond your house, into your neighborhood. Feel how much you can expand yourself more and more on every inhale. And feel how you can also soften. Feel the nucleus of your being and all your energy. Inhaling, expanding out through your community, through your city, your state. Exhale again. Feel that big aura, energy field of your own. Inhaling again, going out even further. See if you can fill out your entire country, the world. Go big. You're bigger than you know. On your exhale, feel how you are this small energy source expanding out, vast, infinitely wide. Inhaling out into the cosmos, into the stars. You're unlimited. You're infinite. Again, exhaling and contracting in. You are this pulse, this magnetic field. You are this energy source. See if you notice you're not alone. It's not just you. It's all of us. We're all doing it together. Tap into you. But know that you are just more. You are so much more than just you. We're all connected. In this moment, in all moments. If you feel drained, fill yourself up. Use this opportunity to create this energy vortex. Inhaling, filling your cup. Imagine this golden light pouring in through your crown, filling up your physical being. You are golden, you are glowing. Exhaling, releasing any exhaustion, any stagnation. Inhaling that golden light, filling your entire body, your being, all the cells, filling all the walls, the organs, your blood. This is your prana, this is your life force, this is your energy. Inhale the light. Exhale anything that feels heavy. Feel yourself lightening up. Preparing yourself for a beautiful relaxation, a wonderful night's sleep. Inhaling together. Exhale, release. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Inhale together. Just a simple little exercise in becoming present in the moment, giving you an opportunity to just prepare yourself for a good night's rest. Nothing special, but all so special. Because we need to become more present, to be the present, to be the gift in life. The more present we can be in our body, in the moment, the more we are showing up as the gift for everyone around us. And when you fill your cup up, you're doing it for not just yourself, but everyone too. The more of us that are willing to recharge, to re-energize, to rejuvenate. Do you know rejuvenate? Think about that word. Juvenile. Youth. It's re-youthing. Rejuvenation is re-youthing. It's returning to your youth. Rejuvenation is nourishment. You are just as youthful as you were when you were a small child if you're willing to take responsibility and show up for you. Be the parent you needed when you needed them. A lot of this chaotic, frenetic energy is because people are recognizing something is missing. There's a sense of urgency that anxiety is anticipating that, oh my gosh, I'm afraid that something is not going to get fulfilled in my life. Depression is the idea that something isn't fulfilled as a result of the past. Here's the beauty. In any given moment, you can shift it. You just need to become present, and the gift of the breath is so important. We are always acting out of love or out of fear in any given moment. Anytime you feel imbalanced and you notice you're not in a loving space, take a step back and take a deep breath. What is it you're fearful of? The majority of us are just fearful our needs won't get met. And when that happens, that in itself is recapitulating a childhood wound. We have coping mechanisms. We get anxious about the future because we've been depressed in the past, depleted. Some need either wasn't fulfilled by a parent in the moment as a child, that we as adults don't recognize we're still reliving. Can we confront that and recognize, oh my gosh, why am I so worried about that need not being met now when I'm an adult and I can meet my own needs? Nobody has to do that for you. Nobody needs to do that for you. You are your own parent now. You can take ownership. You can take personal responsibility because you are responsible. You are a responsible being in a physical body. This is what rebirthing is about, is taking ownership of your life. You always have the choice. Always have the choice. That is your superpower. And it's beautiful. It's a gift. It's a blessing. And that's your power. That's what empowers you, is the ability to choose. And when you choose you, you are so much better for it. So no matter what is going on in your life, please think of yourself first and the needs you need met. Take care of you first. Fill your cup. And it will overflow, and you can do so much more for others. We're not here to be martyrs. We're not here to be in suffering. If you need time to rejuvenate, to recharge, take time for you. These are challenging times, but they're challenging for a reason, because they're challenging you to wake up to what your needs are. And how do you meet them other than working through it? So when you are knocked off your rocker, discombobulated, struggling, stressed out, notice your fear is popping up because you're being triggered. And a trigger is an opportunity to heal something from the past. And when we get in those very high strung out emotions of anger, fear, frustration, when we're highly charged, because the trigger charges us, we're usually taken off our balance. So we're not as easily able to come back to the grounded centering. If you can catch yourself, take a moment and breathe. Take 5 deep breaths. That would be the best thing you could ever do for you. Because here's what happens. If you continue to let the trigger charge you and you react in the same way, you will just keep getting worse. It just builds up. It's the ball. Once it gets rolling, you wake up in the morning and one bad thing goes wrong, and then everything seems to be going wrong. But it's up to you to choose, to change it, to flip the switch, to shift it up. It's a choice. It is a choice. And it's not always going to be easy, because we will get thrown off our course. But every time you recognize it, and that key is in your awareness, you have the opportunity. That is when the mindfulness comes in, because it is a continuous practice. Take time to meditate, even if it's for a few minutes a day. The more you do this, it's exercising the muscle. We have to exercise our mind. We have to exercise our bodies. Without it, we don't have a strong nervous system. Without the ability to rebounce back, to come back to that parasympathetic, the calm state, we will be in the heightened state of sympathetic nervous system, which is frenetic and in the fight or flight. And that is when we have the most cortisol in our blood. And that is so unhealthy. The stress hormones are what cause dis-ease. Stress hormones of cortisol, when it's constantly in your blood like this, you live off of the stress. It's only meant to be like a boom, hyper and then down. A little shot is only meant to sustain for short periods. When the cortisol is stuck in your system, it causes inflammation, causes disease. And I was reminded today, guess what? Inflammation causes depression. Just like adrenaline causes anxiety. So if you have the overshooting of too much of a hormone, it causes the imbalance in your mind, body, and soul. And your brain gets whacked, And why people have hormone imbalances is because they're not responding to their mind properly. They're not tapping into it. We can talk about food all day, but it really starts with the first thought in your mind, because you don't even reach for food until something triggers you in the mind. Most of us will reach for comfort foods to soothe whatever comes up here, and most of it's unconscious. It's very rare that you stop and go, oh, look at that, I'm reaching for that food because I realized something was kind of bothering me and I walked away from it. Instead of sitting with it, leaning into it with curiosity, you reached for something to soothe, right? I'm one to admit I've done it, and I do it still, but I'm conscious of it. When I catch myself, I'm not going to beat myself up about it, because the most important thing you'll ever do, and you've heard me say this before, if you're going to cheat, enjoy what you eat. Be very cognizant. If you're going to put food in your mood, see, that's the thing. Whatever your mood is, you're going to reach for a certain food, and that food will reinforce the mood. So if you catch yourself talking bad on what you're about to eat, this is horrible for me, I shouldn't, you're shoulding on yourself, right? If you're shoveling junk food down your mouth and you're like, I'm just self-sabotaging, I'm just soothing, like this is something you would reach for when you were a child, when something really bothered you, went for, let's say, a chocolate ice cream bar, or like a candy or a Kit Kat. I'm just throwing stuff out, Snickers really satisfies. If you're one of those people, recognize your self-talk, because that's usually the first thing that ends up happening, is we tend to beat ourselves up first instead of giving ourselves permission to say, oh my gosh, I didn't even realize how bad I was being so nasty about what I'm about to put in my mouth. If you're going to cheat, enjoy what you eat. At least pray and say, you know what, I'm so grateful that I can choose to eat this. I know it's not the most healthy, but I'm going to enjoy every morsel, every bite. Because whatever it is that you're about to put in your mouth becomes a part of every cell in your being. But it's first starting with your thoughts. And if the energy behind it is already negative, then the food isn't going to serve you. So we really need to work on the mind-body-soul connection. It doesn't just start with, oh, the body, I need to eat, I need to put something in. Oh, I need my protein. Oh, I need my carbs. Oh, I need this. Oh, I need that. Get out of the mindset that it's about the food. If your mind isn't right, nothing else is going to be right. You got to start where everything starts, because your mind is what's controlling what you reach for to eat. Your mind is the first thing that says, oh, I feel like eating a pizza. Let me stuff those feelings down with the carbs. Eat passes over that blood-brain barrier. It's such a soothing sugar rush. Gives you grain brain and wheat belly. And it really actually dampens your intuition. Took me many years. Food is what really drove a lot of my healing, because I had so many physical ailments and I wasn't listening to my body. I just went along with the idea that, oh, I'm getting older. Oh, it's just normal to not go to the bathroom every day, that I shouldn't go to the bathroom like for 3 days. It's not normal, people. I wasn't tapping into my body's wisdom. I wasn't listening to everything it was telling me. It took me a long time to learn the lessons. But we don't have to learn the hard way. Some of us are stubborn. I was one of them. I'm here to live in ease and grace at this point in my life. I've suffered enough for my greatness as far as I'm concerned. The truth of the matter is, I had enough of that crazy self-sabotage in my life to recognize, I chose that. And I take full ownership for it. I was one of the most martyr-styled women. I chose my suffering, and I'm here to own that. Are you willing to own what you've chosen in your life, in your past, instead of playing victim to the circumstances? That in itself is huge. I know it was and is for me. And I'm telling you, it's okay for you to do it for you. I'm giving you permission because I've done it for myself. There was a point in my life when I said, you know what? I don't have to struggle. Just because other people struggle, or just because they say that's normal, doesn't make it my normal. No, I choose ease and grace. It is a choice. And I choose, when I am suffering, I step back and go, wow, look how powerful I am. I'm choosing the suffering. I've done this quite often over this past year, especially. Like sometimes I get this negative self-talk. I have these conversations in my head that I'm like, that's pretty clever. I am amazed at my mind. I give my mind some serious kudos. I am willing to sit with it and go, that's pretty darn clever. Look at you go on with your bad negative self-talk. Wow. Go on, tell me more. Well, that's curious. Or that I'm doing something I might not really want to do, but I'm doing it because I'm choosing to do it, not because I need to. I just feel like it and want to get it done. Like I am the type of person, when I see a need, I try to fill it. If I see something that needs to be done, I don't wait around for someone else to do it. That's been my life. And I've had these conversations with my girlfriends, and they think it's funny too because we agree. I don't have to do that. I could wait and maybe ask somebody else to help me, but because I want it done now, I'm going to do it myself. So that's when I'm choosing to do it. But then there are other times when I go, you know what? I know that needs to get done, but I really don't feel like doing it in this moment. That's going to sit because it's not a priority in this moment in time. I'm not making it a priority. But you have to recognize what you choose as a priority and what is not. Many of us make these lists, right? How many of you out there are making those lists? And you get really upset with yourself because the list doesn't get checked off in the amount of time that you allot yourself. Let's say just one day you've got 5 things. Maybe you get to 1. Are you placing unreasonable expectations upon yourself? My sister and I love this one. Because the other day I said to her, I know how you operate. You create a list that is completely unreasonable, and it's a little game that we play, us labanteuses, my sister and I joke. I said, this is the game we play. We create a list, and the game is, let's see how much I can get done. I already know I'm not going to get all this stuff done on this list. But it's the game of how much can I fit in this small amount of time. At least notice the games you play with yourself, because then you can turn around and recognize that you are the one creating the game in your life. That's another superpower. That's part of your choosing. When you choose how you play your game, you're the rule maker. Things will unfold. Have fun with yourself. But at least notice the way you do it. Don't get upset and beat yourself up over stupid little things like I didn't get to all my list. Oh gosh, I'm a bad person. I'm going to have more stuff to do later. No, you know what? Give yourself credit for what you did get done. Most of us don't do that, do we? Give yourself more credit. Celebrate you. Celebrate all that you do. Don't celebrate it's celebrate what you do. Don't poo-poo on what you don't do. We need to celebrate more. And I also encourage you to celebrate when you have those horrible moments of pain, when it feels like shit. Because the pain is because of your pleasure, and the pleasure is because of your pain. We don't, they say, no pain, no gain. There's some truth in that. See, because we live in a polarity, in a dualistic lifestyle, this whole life is about duality, and the opposites attracting, and the contrasts that give life such vivacity, such vibrance, such color, technicolor, dimension, multi-dimensions. The truth of the matter is, without it, we wouldn't recognize the pain without the pleasure without the pain. So when you've had extreme pleasure, you're going to have extreme pain. And when you've had extreme pain, recognize that eventually in your life you're going to experience extreme pleasure. And I love to share the fact that if you have given yourself permission to go all in for the biggest, most amazing, pleasurable experience, let's say heartbreak, love, and relationship, you love someone with all your heart. Remind yourself when your heart gets broken for whatever reason, that because you were so willing to go in, all in, that's how much more you're also going to feel the pain. That's what the polarity and the dualism is. And if you celebrate that pain and recognize that, wow, I was so willing to go all in for my pleasure, that pain is actually the gift of that. When you shift up the way that you see things and you recognize that the pain is there serving the pleasure and the pleasure is there serving the pain, the chaos seems so much less, doesn't it? It's just the divine dance of life. It's all it's doing. It's showing up where you're at. And it becomes so much more poetic and artistic and on display just for you when you are present to it. Instead of rejecting the things you don't want and only accepting what you do want. Because it's all there to serve you. Every little morsel. So I want you to gobble it up. Enjoy every bite. Smell it, taste it, touch it, hear it. It's all there just for you. And guess what? You're the one serving it up. And it all starts here. So no matter what is going on around you, only you have responsibility and accountability for how you act, react, and show up to what's going on around you. Because you can show up with ease and grace at your leisure, at your choice, or you can show up kicking, fighting, screaming, and resisting, and create your own drama. It's all drama, actually. So when people say no drama, it's all drama. It's just that you're the actor in your play, this is your theatrical moment. You can be whoever and whatever you want to be. I challenge you to do that. Step into the role that you want. Step into the part that you care to play. Act the way you want to act. Nobody's holding you back but you. Isn't that just crazy? That we have so much control of our lives, yet we seem to put so much more importance on those around us, as if they're poking or provoking us. All they're doing is showing our weaknesses to us. Shows where our attachments are. When people show up and it's you know, this is rough, this is tough, I don't like this. All they're doing is showing you, look what that hurts, doesn't it? Why? Why does it hurt? Why doesn't it feel good? You can always choose differently. You all know how much I love you. I'm here for you. If you're feeling exhausted, please try not to take it out on others. You're here to show up and be the best version of yourself. Nurture you first. You don't have to prove yourself or validate yourself to anybody. You're okay just as you are. There's nobody truer than you, right? The Dr. Seuss quote. Or youer than you. Just be who you're meant to be. Unapologetically. Because authenticity and vulnerability are so appreciated. And they're not rare. It's a matter of remembering. And let people see you. Because the more you're willing to be seen and heard, witnessed, the more others will do the same as well. We all have to be the ones to show others who we are so they can show us who they are. There is no right or wrong. There just is. It's just what you choose. It all is. And we could say nothing matters, but what matters is what we place importance upon. So just choose wisely. And just have a relaxing, wonderful evening. And you be you, baby. I love you. So much love. Sweet dreams. Good night. Hugs and kisses. Mwah.